Oh,
Okay. First question. What town near the Fraser River, always known as one of the hottest during BC summer, largely burned to the ground during the early summer of 2021 heat wave? Next question. By what unofficial name was Vancouver known prior to 1886? Question 3. I see we have Eleanor Creaser with us now too.
Oh, then you should go back to the first questions and catch up.
Okay. All right, this was the first question, Eleanor. What town near the Fraser River, always known as one of the hottest during BC summers, largely burned to the ground during the early summer of 2021 heat wave? Okay, for question 2, again. By what unofficial name was Vancouver known prior to 1886? Okay.
I probably will take myself out of this one.
Marianne Vine, in the mid to late 19th century, lived in what is now known as Glen Farm. She provided invaluable service to women in Metchosin and Suez, traveling between the two communities on foot. What specifically was the nature of that service? Question 4. On what BC Gulf Island can Mount Maxwell Provincial Park be found? Question 5. What is the name of the national leader of the New Democratic Party? Question 6. At what point on the Juan de Fuca Strait is the only lighthouse between Suez and Port Renfrew located? Question 7. What is the date of the upcoming federal election in Canada?
Okay, what are we?
Question 8. Who is the candidate for the riding in which Metchosin is located for the Liberal Party of Canada? I think he was one of the first to have his signs up.
does spelling count?
No, as long as it's close. Question 9. Prior to Westmont School, a Montessori school operated on Duke Road East in Metchosin until the late 1970s. One of the present owners of the former school building was one of the first district councillors when Metchosin was incorporated. What is his name?
Oh.
Oh. I can see him.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see him.
That's a good one.
Okay, question 10. The Center for Injured Wild Animals, Wild Ark, is located on what road, which branches off Rocky Point Road, a short distance from Glen Rosa Farm?
Okay.
Sorry, Jane.
Take it away, Jane.
I'm gonna take myself out of a couple of these ones. I like your questions so far, Andrew. They're not over-facing completely.
Okay, ready for Lori's interlude?
Oh, yeah, right.
Oh, she's a
So we'll
moment.
just take a short break, and I just thought I'd let you know about our upcoming, our next online event, which is on the 23rd of September, Thursday. Carol Carmen is going to have interview Chris Pratt about his amazing life, a long-term Metchosin resident. So just letting you know about that. And also tomorrow, or Saturday, I should say, is the Parisian Cafe, a free event at the courtyard here at the old school building. So I hope you guys can all join us and bring a friend along too. And Andrew, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
What time does the cafe start on Saturday?
10 a.m., 10 to noon.
Oh, this is another one.
Okay. Question 11. What was the name of the man who was Metchosin's air raid warden during World War II and in the 50s became leader of the local Boy Scout group, and later, over a dispute about Scout headwear, became the leader of the junior forest wardens? And there's one clue we can give here. His wife's name was Vera.
All right.
That doesn't help. Okay.
He lived quite close to you, Eleanor.
Yeah. I think Ray was in junior forest wardens too.
Oh.
Can we
All
just
right, question 12. What historic town to the east of Prince George is maintained as a relic of the 1858 gold rush? Again, a hint, the first name of the person after whom it was named was Billy.
Jeez. Oh.
Okay, for question 13. In years prior to World War II, Canadian Pacific steamships provided service to the southern Gulf Islands. What was the name of the ship that providing that service? And here again, a hint, after the ship was scrapped, a significant part of it remained as a very popular restaurant in Vic West. Okay, question 14. What is the only city in Canada that has hosted the Summer Olympic Games?
Summer Games.
the Summer Olympic Games.
Yeah. Mm,
We've had two that hosted the Winter Olympic Games, but only one the summer.
A city in Canada.
Okay, question 15. A little bit of a long description here, but the Boy Scout movement was founded in England in the early 1900s. The first name in the list of its original members is considered to be the first Boy Scout. He and his family moved to the Albert Head area in the early 1960s. He is buried in St. Mary's Cemetery, and a plaque there from Scouts Canada commemorates this distinction. What is his name? A clue: he was a peer of the realm.
Oh,
60s.
Can you repeat the clue? Did you?
I'm saying he was a peer. He had some special title that preceded his family name.
oh. Mm.
All right, seems that may be a tough one.
It was a tough one.
Yeah. In what year did the province of Newfoundland, now Newfoundland and Labrador, join Canadian Confederation?
That I know.
Good.
This is a humbling experience.
Oh, but treat it as a learning experience.
Oh, it is indeed a learning experience, considering we've been here for 30 years. And, you know, it's amazing what I know and what I don't.
Let's go to question 17.
Okay.
The second premier of BC, and prior to that, the editor of the Colonist newspaper, was William Alexander Smith, but later preferred to be known by the name which translated as the lover of the universe. What was that preferred name? Okay, for question 18. The First Nation residential school on Penalacat Island, which is now the First Nation official name for the island. It's near Thetis Island. It's believed to be of the 5 residential schools associated with Vancouver Island. First Nations, Island First Nations, it's to have the greatest number of students die in time there, according to records. It closed in 1975. By what name did the school and the island on which it was located go until more recent times? Okay, question 19. Lester B. Pearson was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1957 for his work as the Canadian Minister of External Affairs in bringing an end to the crisis over a body of water in the Middle East. What was that body of water? And the final question for today. What unusual beast of burden, not native to Canada, was used for transporting goods during the Caribou Gold Rush? Offspring of these animals were still seen in the BC interior in the early 1900s. But even if you're struggling for the answer, I think you'll be interested to hear what the correct answer is. Okay, that's the 20 questions for today. So
Can
if we're
can
ready,
I ask,
we'll go. Oh, yeah,
can I ask for one repeat, please?
yes.
Number 9.
Okay. Prior to Westmont School, a Montessori school operated on Duke Road East in Metchosin until the late 1970s. In fact, our oldest daughter was going to go there and then it closed. But one of the present owners of the former school building was one of the first district councillors when Metchosin was incorporated. What is his name?
Okay, thanks.
Okay, anybody else want to repeat of any question? All right, well, we'll go with the answers. The town that largely burned to the ground was Lytton. And I think anybody who'd spent time in Lytton during the summer would not have been all that surprised. I think Suez is the other hot one. Question 2.
Oh, Gaston.
Oh, of course it was.
We all right with Gastown being
Yeah, that's.
Vancouver, the name? Vancouver's
heard it.
earlier name?
Still is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was named after, I think it was Gassy Jack, was sort of the most well-known man about town of that time. Yeah. Question 3. Go ahead, Jane.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm taking
No,
myself
just tell the others what the answer is to this because you.
Well, she was the midwife, of course.
Yeah.
Yep. Metchosin through Souk.
Yeah.
Wow.
She had, if you want to know some more interesting stuff about her, you might try looking at footprints. Because I think there's a fair amount, and I think the Hammonds had quite a bit of information about her at the Glen Rosa restaurant.
Mhm.
Yeah, she was quite colorful.
Very colorful.
One interesting thing was that she actually just had a single daughter that was the product of her first marriage. And by the time she settled here, and the name of the farm before, when she and Mr. Vine were here, was actually Norfolk, became Glen Rosa with the Scottish people. So anyway, she had one daughter who she actually became estranged with when the daughter wanted to marry somebody. Not sure if she kept up the relationship with the daughter, but the daughter went on to have 11 children, I believe, 9 or 11 children. So there's
Wow.
there's
Wow.
been a dynasty of relatives of Mary Ann Vine that I have had the privilege of getting to meet through the 6 years that we've been open as a restaurant. Fascinating. They all come with their own stories of Granny Vine.
Interesting. I never knew that.
Interesting. Mary Ann Vine has the fanciest gravesite in the cemetery too.
Yeah, the big wrought iron, the big wrought iron.
That's the one just inside the main gate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Jane,
thanks.
that would be great someday if you could do a maybe an online slideshow of some of this interesting history, because you would have photos and everything probably. It'd be quite interesting.
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, because of the pandemic, we haven't had a cemetery tour for the last 2 years, but that was always one of the things that featured in the cemetery tour was Mary Ann Vine's gravesite.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to think about that.
Yeah. Anyway, number 4, if you land at the southernmost ferry terminal on Salt Spring Island, you look right up to Mount Maxwell, and it's Salt Spring Island we're talking about here. All right, and if you've watched any of the Canadian national news in recent weeks, I would hope that you would know the answer to this one, Jagmeet Singh. And for those of you that might be wondering who the local representative is, it's Randall Garrison.
No.
Not
Thank you.
one.
Anyway, that wasn't part of the question. All right.
Oh, sure.
The point where the only lighthouse between Souk and Port Renfrew is Sheringham Point.
Oh,
Yeah, should have known that one.
Okay, number 7. Upcoming federal election is September 20th. And if you want to vote by mail, your deadline is Tuesday, I think, to request it.
but there is early voting on Friday, tomorrow. I think Friday, 10th to the 14th, isn't there?
That's the advance
Yeah,
poll
advance poll.
is till Tuesday, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I included this name because it was one of the first candidates whose signs appeared in significant numbers in Metchosin.
My apologies, the question and the answer don't match up.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Back to the lighthouse.
Remember what the question
Oh,
was?
dear.
yeah, I never noticed that.
Oh, I thought I'd corrected that this morning, Lori. I
I thought
should've-
I did too, but
Yeah. Anyway, it is Doug Kobayashi is the correct answer for
Yeah.
number 8. And as far as I
what's
know,
the correct question, though?
there's no lighthouse called Doug Kobayashi.
No,
All right.
not that I know
What
of.
was the question, though? Could you repeat?
Oh, the question was who is the Liberal candidate in the riding in which Metchosin is located? And it's Doug Kobayashi. Oh. All right. I'm trying to remember all the councillors when Metchosin first had a council. But the one we're talking about here is Brian Killip, who gave a lot of advice to the early council on sort of financial matters, because that was his expertise.
I'll
Well, I-
just throw in that we're arranging to have, I think it's going to be Joe Mitchell or anyway, somebody's going to be interviewing Brian Killip in the coming months at our speaker series. So watch for that.
Yeah. Well, Brian and his wife Bonnie are almost next door neighbors of ours. So
It was a help for you to say East Duke Road for me,
oh,
because I couldn't remember the other fellow. His wife's name was Pat, but he was on the council as well.
Huh.
But they're not,
Well-
they're on
Well,
Cliff.
there was another person who was on, Metchosin's other main access road. Having a senior's moment.
Oh, Happy Valley, Noel.
Yeah, Noel Pemberton Billing,
Oh, yes.
or Noel PB,
Yeah.
as she was known, yeah.
There was also Jeff Hadley, who was
Yeah.
on Mount Lake Road. But I'm
Yeah.
just remembering the other fellow's name. Very, they were a super bunch of people to get us started,
Yeah,
along with Herman Volk.
Herman
Yeah.
Volk was the mayor, I remember.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was on a previous quiz.
Yeah.
Okay, number 10. Okay, I hope I've got this right. I'm pretty sure it's Malik Road,
yeah,
where Wild Ark is located.
that's correct.
Liberty, but I guess it's off that.
No, it's after Liberty. It's between Liberty and
Yeah.
Glen Rosa.
Or the Goose. Yeah, it just runs up behind the Galloping Goose.
Yeah, it's very close to the Galloping Goose. That's right.
Well, it's good to know that.
Okay, should we go straight on to number 11, Laurie?
Mhm.
Oh, Chris.
Okay, Chris Pike was the man we're talking about here. He was quite a character, as was his wife, but two very different people. But actually, once when he took the junior forest wardens on a hike on the West Coast Trail, and he arranged for his inflatable boat to transport them across Nitnat Narrows, the junior forest wardens, when they got to Nitnat Narrows. And I was on the shore at that time watching them take them across, and the motor on his boat failed in Nitnat Narrows, which was really scary because the tide was going out, and there is a really dangerous place that the outflow would carry you across. And fortunately, Chris got the motor going again and no problem. But I must say, I was in a panic when I saw that happening. But no, Chris gave an awful lot to the community. And apparently, if you had your lights on at night during the Second World War, Chris Pike would be at your door.
Oh.
Because he was the,
Ray remembered him. He was really well respected in Metchosin.
absolutely.
Ray remembers him.
And he seemed like a gruff guy, but when we had, I think, our second daughter, Chris and Vera came over because they were we were on Rocky Point Road then. And Chris, for all his rough characteristics, when he had a baby in his arms, was just the gentlest person you could imagine. Anyway, number 12.
Oh, actually, Andrew, can you describe the dispute that he had over the Scout headwear?
Oh, it's something to do is he wanted them to be able to wear, as far as I remember, it was something to do with, he wanted them to be able to wear berries, a red berry or something like that. And they insisted on the cap for the Cubs and the sort of the the Mounties hat
Yeah.
for the Scouts. And I don't know why he felt so strongly about it, but anyway, the junior forest wardens were the ones that benefited.
Okay.
Number 12.
Oh.
Most people managed to get that one.
I'll
Yep.
comment.
Not so sure about the other one on the gold rush, but we'll get to that later. Number 13
Princess Mary.
was the Princess Mary, all right. And there's still, last time I saw it, the foot of Head Street in Esquimalt, there seems to be something that's still calling itself the Princess Mary, but it has, I don't think it has anything left of the original Princess Mary, but
I think that's a different thing. I know my grandfather used to take us to the Princess Mary restaurant. It was a treat about once a year, and I remember it quite vividly.
yeah, well, when we were living in Vancouver and we came over to Vancouver Island on a number of holidays. One of the things my father always wanted to take us to was to a lunch at the Princess Mary.
Yeah.
Anyway, number 14.
Oh,
Yeah, Montreal.
huh.
I
put
should
a
have thrown
window
in-
down.
I should have thrown in the hint about the fact that it took years to pay off the debt from the Olympic Stadium. And
And I would have got it.
That's right. I was thinking Montreal and Expo. but that-
yeah, all right, number 15.
Oh, Lord Rodney, yeah, I remember now.
Yeah,
Didn't get that one.
that was a clue about. Actually, the name Lord Rodney came as prior to Nelson, who was probably Britain's most famous naval person. Lord Rodney prior to him was the most famous one up till then. In fact, during the Second World War, well, prior to the Second World War, Britain built two battleships, one called the Rodney and the other called the Nelson. But actually, quite a few of Lord Rodney's family are buried in the cemetery in Metchosin. In fact, my wife did the music for, I think, his son's funeral. 16.
1949.
Yep.
That was a good year.
Now, who was the premier of Newfoundland at that time? Just to
Oh, bonus point, eh?
Oh gosh, I used to know his name so well. He was such a character.
first
Oh.
name was Joey.
Joey
Oh.
Smallwood.
Smallwood.
Oh,
Right.
great.
Good one.
Can we
Seven.
count it?
17.
Amor de Cosmos.
Yes. He was an unusual guy.
Yeah, kind of did some odd things.
Question 18. Nearly there.
All right, Cooper.
Island?
Yeah. If you ever went to Thetis Island, the ferry taking you to Thetis Island would have stopped at Cooper Island as well. And you could see, I think the school has been torn down by them, but you could see as you pulled into Cooper Island, the old residential school there. Sad story. Anyway, 19.
Suez. Yep.
Yeah, the Suez Canal.
My
I guess
husband,
if you
My
answered Red Sea, you were close, but the battle was over the big dispute between France, Britain, and Egypt was over the Suez Canal, because basically Egypt took it over, and basically Pearson settled the matter in Egypt's favor.
my husband was there in the crisis. He was in the Air Force.
Oh, All right, and number 20, we come to the other gold rush question.
Oh, camel.
Camels, I got it.
It was
Oh, good.
good for you. Yeah, it was camels, and
Good grief. Poor
and
camel.
they did find some camels still around, offspring, in the early 1900s. If you look at BC history books.
I think there's a few photographs here and there that show it too.
Yeah.